Being as January is now over, I figured I should be doing my What I Read in January video. So for some of these, I am not going to have a physical book because I either lost it or they were library copies. So the first book I read was a historical fiction called I'll Be Seeing You by Suzanne Hayes and Loretta Nyhan. I rated it 4 stars. This was likely accidentally donated to the library. I was unable to find it, and I've never had this happen before. And I did have a batch of a few other library books, or a few that were library books, that I did return, so I'm assuming it just ended up in that mix. It was very good, and I really loved the use of the character development, specifically on one character who was very mousy at the very beginning, and as by the end you would have never, it was not the same person, practically. So my second book was a magical realism book called The Kamogawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. I rated it 3 stars. This is a library book, so it's been returned. I do not have it to show you guys. My only complaints was that it was a little slow pace for my liking, and that there would be problems that came up, but there was not any real conflict. And every story had this like really happy ending, and I think it was just a little too maybe happy or slow for me. But it was good, and I think it's a good comfort read more than anything. The third book I read was a romance novel called Happily Letter After by Vi Heeland and Penelope Ward. I rated that 4 stars. This was another library book that I do not have the physical copy for because, again, it's been returned. It was very good. It was kind of a strange premise, but I really liked it. So I did want to mention that I did give up on a couple of books, and one of them, which was also a library book, so again, it's been turned in. It was a mystery called And Dust and Ashes by Hanne Wilhelmsen. It was the 10th book in a series. This was my own fault. I couldn't really follow it. There was just so much that had gone on before then that as a standalone, I couldn't get into it, and I did read about half of it, but like, the characters are really strange, and I couldn't. And then after that one, I read another historical fiction called The Girl Behind the Wall by Mandy Robotham. I gave that 3.5 stars. My only complaint is it was a little slower than I would have liked it to be, because most of it was like the spacing of time was like every couple days, and it just felt tedious. But it was good. It was a good book, but other than that, it was good. Another book I read was another magical realism called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, I think it's pronounced. So, this was my favorite book of this month. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It was very good. The only thing was the second half kind of messes with your head a little bit with different universes and all. It just gets a little weird, but if you can get past that, it's really, really good. The next book I read was a contemporary fiction, also basically a summer read, called Summers at the Saint by Mary Kay Andrews. I definitely wanted something summery in the middle of winter. Because sometimes you just want a summer read when it's like 2 degrees out. It was good, however, I feel like the villains were kind of too obvious for my liking. And another thing I wasn't big on was, this is gonna sound really weird, but I don't know if because excuse me, the hotel itself is like a rich people place or something, that she felt the need to have people with rich sounding names or something, but like their last names were really long and weirdly complicated and hard to pronounce in my head, and I'm like, okay. But other than that, it was good. The other book I gave up reading was The Light Pirate by Lily Brooke Stolten. I stopped 3 pages in. It was so wordy. If it was like that at the beginning, I just couldn't do it. So that was a sci-fi dystopian. So this month of what I actually did read, I read 2 historical fictions, 2 magical realisms, a romance, and a contemporary fiction. And then this year I'm going to be doing the Read Through the Alphabet Challenge, and I chose to do mine through book titles, not by author. I know some people do it by author, but I'm doing it by book titles. So I've done, and I didn't even mean to do this because every book I read was a different letter, and it just happened to be like that. So I got G done for Girl Behind the Wall, H done with Happily Letter After, I with I'll Be Seeing You, K with the Kamogawa Food Detectives, M with The Midnight Library, S with Summers at the Saint, and the one I'm doing has a few like extra ones that I think are kind of fun. Another one of the things to like cross off is an animal on the cover, and I also got that done with the Kamigawa Food Detectives because there's a red tabby cat on the cover. And then the other ones I have to do at some point are, there's one where it's a one-word title, and then one where it's your favorite color on the cover. So for me, that's yellow. And then one with number in the title. So that's all I read in January, with a total of 6 books, and 2 I unfortunately did not complete.